Hello, my name is Scott Hubbard. I'm one of the leaders here at Green Valley Church, and I thank you for being a host and a leader for our small groups. Thank you for your willingness to serve. When Jesus went back up into the heavens, Luke tells us in Acts that the disciples devoted themselves to teaching, to fellowship, to breaking of bread, and to prayer. And that's the perfect example of what our small group is. There could be nothing better than what they set for example in the first church. What do you call a marathon for pastors? You're right, a Revron. We're all ministers, so everyone can minister to someone else. And I thank you for your willingness to minister in this way. This is a great opportunity for us to grow as a church, to grow as a person, to grow in our faith in Christ. My goal is to give you some simple ideas and some strategies on how you can have a successful small group. One of the first things that I suggest is that when you first get together, come up with ground rules for your group. It's sort of like the Buddhist said to the hot dog vendor, make me one with everything. But remember, you don't have to have everything. You don't have to be perfect. You just need to be willing to serve. So on your very first time you get together, come up with ground rules. Discuss with your whole group on how you want to handle your group. You've already decided what day and what time you want to meet. Now discuss how long you want to meet for. In the past, we've met at 7 o'clock and we said we'll officially end at 8:30. At that point, if anyone needs to leave, they can leave. But we always hung around later and we would talk and we would break bread, have a time of more fellowship. So discuss that. Make sure that when you're there, that you're open and honest about things. As the host and leader, there's times you need to be the one to start that conversation. You may need to be the one to be a little bit vulnerable. But then because you're open and honest and vulnerable, then make sure you create a safe environment, an environment where you know that when you share things, those things won't be in next Sunday's bulletin. Keep it a place where you can talk about things, and what's said in the group stays in the group. You may also want to look at different ways that if you're going to eat food, who's going to provide food, what you might eat, the kind of food, how much. Just talk about all the details of your group so that way you feel comfortable that every time you meet, there won't be a question of what you're going to do. Continue to communicate. I would definitely suggest you share numbers with each other. You can text, call. I've been encouraged many times by someone in my group who would give me a quick text saying, hey, I'm praying for you about this. So there's a lot of different ways you can stay in communication with your group, but just be focused on talking openly, honestly, and create those ground rules. So from then on, you can go. If you decide that you want to host it at a different place, go ahead and do that. If you want someone else to facilitate, to lead it one week, feel free to change. It's okay. For the next 9 weeks, we're going to be talking about the Jesus Creed. Back when Jesus was on earth, one of the religious leaders asked Jesus, what is the greatest commandment? Without hesitation, the first thing he did was he said, there's one God. You need to love your Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and with all your strength. And the second is that you love your neighbor as yourself. There's no greater commandments than these. I said for a long time that is so easy. Then my wife reminded me, it's not easy, it's simple. And I realized, sure enough, it is simple, not easy. All we need to do is love God and love others. And that's going to be our key for these next 9 weeks, and learning how we can love God, how we can love others. One of the best things that we did, my wife came up with a suggestion. Well, as you know, the number one rule is your wife is always right. Number 2 rule is if she is wrong, look back to the number 1 rule. She suggested that when we started meeting, that we would give the opportunity for each person in the group to share their story. So each week, and you might, as the host or leader, start off with sharing your story first. It could be your story about where you grew up, how you worked, your relationship with God, how you came to know God, and then decide on who can share their story the following week. That way, everyone in the group gets the opportunity to share their story. You have the opportunity to learn a little bit more about each other. It's a great time to do that. In the next 9 weeks, when we learn how to love God and love others, and you can love each other. I am so grateful for your willingness to host, to lead, and to be a part of something even greater than you. At times it could be nervous to do this, but I just encourage you to feel free and discuss with others what to do. If you have any questions, look for myself, look for any of the leaders and ask them. Thank you again for your willingness to serve, your willingness to minister, and have a great small group. Thank you.